What's your funny public bathroom story? I walked into a bathroom of a store the same time an alarm went off. I thought that the alarm went off because the bathroom was somehow a prohibited area and freaked out. I would do that. I'd probably have anxiety near that bathroom for the rest of my life. Happened to me once. Was at a jump yard called, well, jump yard. Anyway, in the middle of our time period we had to jump. Me and my friends go to drink some water. Suddenly, the alarm goes off, and I'm freaking out, since in the speakers I hear fire alarm. Exit building immediately. Even though it said fire alarm, I thought it was, because I went into the wrong bathroom. Had to exit the building with only socks on in the leftover raindrops in mud. Turns out it was just a candle that apparently caused a fire. Nope, it didn't. We didn't even get compensation for it. Bad day, but cold been worse. I'm a guy, before I start this, so I walk into Walmart, and I go straight into the bathroom not looking at anything. After a little bit in the stall, somebody goes into the stall next to me, and like everybody else, I look at their shoes, and think seems a bit feminine for a guy, but I've got small feet and wearing Vans, so who am I to judge? Then I kept thinking about it. Was I in the women's restroom? Once I finished I was so nervous that I look under the stall door to make sure the restroom was empty. Surprisingly, it was empty, so I put up my hoodie so my face couldn't be seen and get out ASAP. When I got out, I looked at the sign. It was the women's restroom. My face was red and it felt hot to the touch. I'm so thankful that nobody saw me enter while I was in there, and when I left, I check the signs every time now. This isn't my story. I heard it from a woman I met at a party a few months ago. She was traveling with some colleagues on a chartered bus from Canada into the US and suddenly realized that she had a Cuban cigar in her purse. And so, while still on the Canadian side of the border, she got off the bus for a bathroom emergency and quickly went into the duty-free to use their washroom. She put the cigar into the toilet and went to flush it. However, as you might have guessed, it did not go down easy. It swelled up and clogged the now overflowing toilet. In an absolute panic, she knelt down and began picking apart the brown log. It was at this moment that someone swung open the door to her stall. So there she is, hands in the toilet, tearing brown chunks of the big turd-looking cigar. The only words she could muster were "I'm not done." Once in Bay, after coming out of the restroom, an old grumpy man was standing at the experience rating machine and continuously pressing the angry emoji. Dunno what caused it, since the restroom was fine for me, but it was actually pretty funny considering that he was stared at by a bunch of Arab guys. An experience rating machine. I don't quite understand. Do people rate their bathroom experience on these machines? There's a touch screen next to the door coming out where you can click on the emoji that you would rate this bathroom. Wow. I've never seen or heard of that, but I don't get out of the States really often. I've heard Dubai has some incredible infrastructure though. Can you rate a Japanese toilet? When I was a little kid, my mom took me and my brothers to a Target for some shopping. About halfway into it, I had to go to the bathroom, and being the small independent child I was, wanted to go by myself. So I told my mom, and she was fine with it, so I ran to the bathroom. Little did I know, I accidentally ran into the dude's bathroom. So there was about 5-year-old me just casually doing my stuff, while a whole bunch of old guys shared confused looks. This would be normal if my dad was with me, but he wasn't. Weirdest thing about it is that I can remember it in perfect detail, don't talk about it much, but it's still brought up at family gatherings to my embarrassment. I was at a good old restaurant. I had a lot, and I mean a lot of lemonade. I went to the bathroom. Then as I was about to leave the stall, 2 girls walked in and went in the same stall. Then they low-key started talking about why the one of the girls had slept with the other's girl boyfriend. I swear I was just in there listening, and let me tell you I was only in like 5th grade. So I think I can finally leave and wash my hands quickly and quietly. Those girls come out and see me and realize I've been there from the beginning of the conversation. My mom thought something was wrong with me, and I told her the whole story. I'm pretty scared of public bathrooms. A friend and I went to the ladies' room while out shopping. I saw her going into the stall to my left as I entered my stall. After a few seconds, I heard her say, "There's no toilet paper in here, can you give me some?" So I grabbed a spare roll from my stall and tossed it over the top into the stall on my left. She said hello, please, and her hand appears under the partition. On my right side. Oops. After she had decided to use the stall on the right, someone else came in and took the one on the left. So I pitched a roll of TP into a complete stranger who didn't speak English. I was on a backpacking trip in Phil Mount Scout Ranch in New Mexico. The bathrooms along the trail were called red roofs, and they were just little shelters built over a hole with red roofs on top. We had two kinds of red roofs, the pilot and bombardier, and the cheek to cheek don't peek. If we are thinking in terms of Star Wars, one is like the snow speeders from Empire and the other is like the Millennium Falcon cockpit. I was in a pilot bombardier with my friend and I asked him which one of us was the pilot. Him, we are not doing this. Me, I'm going in for a bombing run. Him, please shut up. I was a young adult 18 in a new restaurant on vacation. Usually, the woman's bathroom is on the right side. In this place, it was on the left. I was hit by the sudden onset of I need to get to a toilet right now feeling, and neglected reading the signs all that carefully. I walked into the gents with one guy about my age at the sink washing his hands. I promptly did a 180 while yelling wrong one and skedaddled to the proper bathroom. I heard laughter as I left, and I can imagine that I would laugh too if the roles were switched. We were at a truck stop in Ohio coming back from a school competition and I, a 16-year-old girl at the time, had to go to the bathroom. So I start walking towards the bathrooms and walk straight into the first bathroom I see and hear a woman behind me yell out "Fats men's." I say to myself "Fats men's what?" as I walk straight into the men's room where a man just stares at me as he dries his hands. I stop and say "Oh, that's men's." I then go back to my group and told the story and everyone starts dying. It is now my iconic line. It seemed that my bladder was on the same schedule as someone else who worked for a company across the hall. We were always in the restroom at the same time. After a few weeks of that, he struck up a conversation and asked where I worked and what I did there. I told him and added that I was looking for a new job. He worked for a recruiting firm in the same industry as me. He asked for my name and phone number so he could pass them on to the head recruiter. Her response was "Where did you say you met this guy?" On my first day at college, I went to the bathroom in our dorm. I was sitting and saw someone's get in the stall next to me. I can't explain why, but I slowly bent over while still sitting on the toilet to peek under the stall at the guy's feet and legs. As my face lowered below the stall, I saw his face as he was doing the same peek maneuver. Our faces were 6 inches apart as we were both taking a dump without any clear explanation. At least it was weird for him too. I know girls do this, not sure if guys do it, but anyway, when you're younger and on the toilet it's common to look under the stall and other people's shoes to see if you know them also, but if you wanna make sure you are the only person in the washroom. Anyways, I did this at the exact same time as another girl and we made eye contact. Yeah, only when you're younger. I definitely don't do this now as a fully grown adult who does adult things. Oh. When I was a kid, I went on a family plus friends trip to Canada. It was a pretty big group, so we communicated by walkie-talkie. While we were exploring Budget Gardens, some kids got onto the channel we were using and started trolling. I wonder if they picked us because we were talking in Chinese, but anyway, it was really invasive and frustrating. At one point, my dad went to use a restroom and he walked in on them. Awkward. I was using the only toilet in the library, a large disability toilet with a loose latch. A teenage girl walked straight in while I was doing a poo. She was mortified, started apologizing profusely, and I was yelling, "Close the door." She closed the door with her on the same side. I was yelling, "No, the other side, other side." And she realized, started apologizing again with the precious seconds she could have used to leave. Recently in the bathroom at work, was pooping in the first stall and the toilet paper was on top of the roll insert. When I picked it up to unroll to wipe, the roll hopped out of my hands and rolled unrolling on the way because I had a hold of the end all the way out to the paper towel dispenser. Me, being awkward and not sure what to do, started laughing hysterically until all the other ladies in the restroom realized my predicament and helped me out. We were in a restaurant with the locks that show occupied in red, vacant and green. It also was one with only one toilet with no walls around it other than the bathroom. When my brother goes in there and locks the door, I decide to see if I can unlock the bathroom from the outside by spinning the dial. It turns out I could, and I left it unlocked. This led to a fully grown adult walking in on my 12-ish-year-old brother. Not mine, but a buddy at a pizza place I worked at. Sits down to take an unscheduled break and file some paperwork. A few minutes later some kid comes in and starts wiggling the handle. There's a bunch of "Hey mister, I have to go," reaching under the stall to wave and get his attention. "And how much longer are you going to be?" Finally the kid stops and deadpan asks, "Are you playing with yourself in there?" Back in high school, there was a bathroom stall that had the earthers ending. Deal with it carved with a knife into the inside of the door. Nobody used it, unless all the other ones were occupied, or for vandalism purposes. One day, I went to use the bathroom, had to use that stall. Saw someone crossed off the word ending with a marker, and wrote flat over it. Still convinced to this day, that he started Flat Earth Society. I once walked into the bathroom at school 20 minutes into one of our classes. There were about 10 kids in there standing around in a circle by the urinals, 2 of them not wearing shirts. I turned the corner, saw them, and just put up my hand like my bad and walked out. They all burst out laughing as I left, and I went to another bathroom, shocked by the ridiculousness of the situation that had just unfolded. Not really a public bathroom story, but I once peed in a park at night while on holiday in Istanbul. While I was peeing I suddenly heard a loud whistle. Turns out there's a groundskeeper at parks in Istanbul. He told me to come with him, which kinda scared me, because I thought I was in trouble. In the end, he took me to his house, allowed me to use his bathroom, and gave me tea and popcorn. My dad was in a gas station with a single bathroom, not several stalls, just one toilet. He opened the unlocked door, and walked into the bathroom, only to find a man already there, sitting on the toilet. My dad got so uncomfortable that he walked over to the sink, washed his hands, said thank you, and walked out. This happened years ago, and we still laugh about it all the time.